Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Today I get to share a project with you for Papertrey Ink and I'm excited to share some new items. It's part of the Papertrey Ink's latest release and I love cover plates because the cover plates basically do all the work for you. And today we're going to create a card using the Flutter Cover Plate. Such a pretty panel that has a whole bunch of fluttering detailed butterflies in here. This is A2 in size, so it's 4¼ inches by 5½ I actually die cut it out with white cardstock. I wanted to share with you what it looked like. It is so pretty. Let me scoot this over so you can see. Isn't that gorgeous? That is just simply stunning, and I like that there is a frame around it, so if you want to adhere this to your card base, you would just go along the edges and add a few little dots of glue in the middle of the butterflies and you're good to go. So isn't that gorgeous? We're going to be using this one in our project today, so that's just stunning. I'm also going to be using this die set. I love layers and I also love frames, and I was excited about these. This is the Love to Layer ovals. It's a 3-piece die set, and each one of these ovals have a delicate edge. I went ahead and die cut them out because I wanted to share with you what they look like. This has the little diamond edge, I would say, all along. So this would be great for masculine or feminine cards. Love this. Then you have like an eyelet border. It's very dainty and feminine. And then there is dotted detail around the eyelet. These layer beautifully together. And when you layer them, you can actually see the detail of each layer. And then we have our third layer. This has etched detail all along, and these are all slanted dash lines. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but it's beautiful, and they layer beautifully together. So I'm going to be using the Love to Layer ovals for our card today. For my sentiment, I'm using a new stamp set. There's 2 of them in here. I have Inside Greetings, You're on My Mind, and then we have Just Sentiments. And I love that you can have sentiments on the inside of the card. I just think that's genius. And the sentiments in here are on the smaller side, but they are very encouraging and beautiful. And we're going to be using this for our card today. So with that being said, we're going to put everything aside and I'm going to bring in some cardstock. Okay, now I have colored cardstock. This is Summer Sunrise. I have an A2 panel and then I have another extra piece. My A2 panel is going to go behind my butterfly. We're going to use this on our card, but I do want to add a little bit of detail to this piece. I'm also going to create an extra butterfly for my card. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but on your Flutter cover die, there's 3 butterflies that are whole. And it doesn't take much to separate them from the rest. You would just do a nip here, and then you would have a butterfly. Very easy to do. So I want a butterfly with the Summer Sunrise cardstock. So what we're going to do first, before we die cut out our butterfly, is add a little bit of blending using some inks. We have Raspberry Fizz, and we also have Orange Zest. I'm going to go ahead and start with my Raspberry Fizz, and I want to add a little pink to the center of this cardstock, and then I'm just going to circle out, kind of fading out. I'll add a little bit more color here, like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the best thing about this. And then I'm going to take my Orange Zest, and I'm going to go around start in the middle, and I'm going to go around the edges with my Orange Zest, adding a little orange tone. And then kind of took away my pink, so I'm going to add some more pink in the middle. And I think that's going to work out perfect. Now, I mentioned that I want a butterfly, so instead of just you could die cut out the whole panel if you wanted to, but to me this is just easier. I'm going to find my butterfly that I want, and I want the smaller one. You actually have 2 larger ones and a smaller one that you could use. I'll take this panel, I'm going to flip it around. You can kind of see where your center point is. Line it up, and I'm going to run it just like this through my die cut machine. Now I punched out all of those pieces, and you can see this is just hanging on by 4 little snips. So using my scissors, I'm going to just snip around here. And you can kind of, there's no right or wrong. You can just kind of follow the curve of the butterfly. And we have a beautiful butterfly. And then I can just toss this. And again, if you wanted to do a whole panel, you could. Now, I love the two-tone colors that we created, but the antenna, I don't want orange. So I'm going to use my Honey Nut ink. And just using a finger dauber, I'm going to go over those antenna. Darken those up. And then there is our butterfly. And I love that the butterfly body is big enough to where you could put some foam adhesive behind. So we're going to set this aside with our frame, and then we're going to work on our background. Now I have these 3 colors, and I'm not going to use finger daubers for these. I'm actually going to put away my orange zest and use the Honey Nut and Raspberry Fizz. Now I'm going to bring in some blending tools, pick up some ink, and we're just going to go around the edge of our summer sunrise cardstock. And I am going to go a little bit more towards the middle. We'll just follow all along. I love these 2 colors together. It really kind of looks like a monarch color. And you can kind of judge if you need to add more by looking at your center. I wanted it a little bit more oval, so I'm going to bring out that color a little more. Now once I'm happy with the outcome, I'll put away my Raspberry Fizz, and then I'm going to use Honey Nut. I'm actually going to clean my craft mat real fast. Now I'm going to use my Honey Nut, and I'm going to really darken those edges and trail out. We have a little bit of a border, so I want to make sure that that darkest ink goes past our border. So we'll ink up with Honey Nut, and then we will go along the edge here. Now we'll put away our ink. And I love the way this looks. It really looks nice with the darker edges. Now we're going to remove our craft mat, and then we're going to take our background. We're going to flip this around. I'm going to add glue all along the edges, and then I'm going to add a few dots in the bodies of the butterflies, and this is going to help flatten it. Okay. We're going to flip over our cover plate, and then we're going to tack this down over our background. Now I'm going to use an acrylic block to help weigh this down, and then we're going to die cut out. Actually, we don't even have to die cut. I'm going to use the smallest of our left layer circles. I love the detail in this. We're going to stamp our sentiment now. I'm going to use True Black ink. So let's grab our sentiment. Gosh, there's so many pretty sentiments in this set. Which one do we want to do? Thoughts of you occupy my mind each day. That is just so pretty. I'm going to take that, put it on my acrylic block, and we're going to ink this up with True Black ink. Okay, let's put away our stamp. Then I'm going to take my butterfly, and we're going to doctor this up with a few embellishments. So I'm going to start by adding a little bit of glue behind the body of my butterfly. And I'm going to put it at an angle over here and tack this down so it's kind of fluttering off the edge. Okay, now I have a few extras. We have some natural twine, which is beautiful. Love this. And I already tied a bow with it. And I think I need to shorten the loopies here. Nice full bow. And I'm going to actually take a glue dot right now and we're going to tack that down to the center of our butterfly. And our loopies are actually bigger than the butterfly. Let's use a glue dot and secure this to the center of our butterfly. Kind of fluff out those loops. Kind of shorten them here. And then what I'm going to do is take a button. I'm using my vintage buttons. These are the Kraft Vintage Buttons. Tons in here, all different shapes, sizes, colors. And I chose one that is kind of shiny on one side, but on the reverse side, it really kind of looks like wood. I'm going to use the wood side. And we're going to add some glue dots to our button. And I'm going to place this in the center of the knot. And since I flipped my button upside down, the concave area of the button is going to fit the knot lovely. And then that's going to work out great for my card. So we'll put our buttons and our twine aside. I'm going to flip around my panel and I'm going to add some foam adhesive behind here. We're just going to use some foam squares. And then we're going to take this panel, I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to put this on my card base. And I'll just use my tape runner to adhere this. This will fit perfectly on the front of an A2 size card. I do have a little bit of my panel overhanging on the side here, so I'm just going to use my scissors and trim away the excess. That's what I like about cover plate dies, is they create a perfect card front panel. It's my cardstock that's kind of not straight. Okay, I think that is going to work out great. Got rid of all those excess edges. I'm going to tack this down to the front of my card and see what I mean. It's a quick and easy note card set and there's no dimension. So love this. Okay, I kind of love the little halo look of this. I'm going to flip over my butterfly sentiment, and this is going to go right in the middle of my card. And I'm going to trim down the tails of my twine a little bit. And then I'm going to call this card good. I don't want to add any shine to this card because I kind of like the matte look of it. That will finish my card today for Papertrey Ink. I hope you enjoyed my project. And again, this could be a great design for any color. If you wanted to use your Raspberry Fizz cardstock, you could do the same exact thing with a different color. But I thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.